What's up, everybody? Just wanted to pump out a video real quick and just dive a little deeper into the bigger implications of video game addiction. Now, I know it may be a little hypocritical to be speaking to an audience that may be addicted to video games, yet, as you can see, there's background footage of video games, and I'd like to start by making a distinction between what this is right here and a well and true video game addiction. The footage you're seeing right now comes from the gameplay that I recorded on the weekend, and that is a hard limit that I actually set for myself. I'm only allowing myself to play on the weekends. Now, before you click off the video and say screw this and go find another one, hear me out for a moment. Because I may be the only YouTuber who actively acknowledges the detriment of playing video games, but also not telling you that video games are something you have to completely do away with and just quit cold turkey. Because quitting cold turkey is something that is very tough to do for a lot of people, and admittedly including myself. I mean, look at me, I'm playing on the weekends. I'm making almost, let's say, more than half of my YouTube videos over gameplay, and that is because I grew up with these things, and I am starting to understand the discipline it takes to have them in your life, but also to not overindulge in them. In one of my earlier videos, I asked the prominent question of, do you think it takes more discipline to indulge in something slightly and then just stop, or to just completely quit cold turkey on something? Which one takes more discipline? And in my opinion, having it a tiny bit is actually the more disciplined approach, because you are getting a taste. You are getting that little extra kick of sensation before you have to discipline yourself to say no. In the famous words of Alan Watts, it would be the most disciplined thing to only eat one peanut out of the whole pile. This actually ties in really well to fasting. And when you fast, a lot of people don't know this, but when you fast, there comes a point where you are much better off just not eating. You may be you may be 24 hours in of just no calories, just water, nothing else, and you may be thinking, oh my god, I can't take this. This is too much. I've planned for 3 days, but I don't think I can get there. If you were to have a small meal, or maybe just a tiny thing like a peanut, you would be far more tempted. You would be saying something like, oh, well, I already broke the fast, I already screwed up, I may as well just, dive right back into the hole. Why not? So quitting video games entirely may sound like the harder option, but it does get much easier as you continuously just do away with it. I experienced the same thing with marijuana. I was just fully immersed, just hitting the crack pipe multiple times a day, every single day. And then I tried stopping for a month, and after a certain point, it just didn't feel like I needed it anymore. The dangerous thing about video games is that many of them have the ability to almost replace or synthesize a very important function in any man's life. And one of those functions would be something like status and progression. Everybody wants to be a high rank on whatever game they play, especially if it's multiplayer. And, that's all well and good, and that's a healthy thing, looking for competition and looking for some level of status and recognition that you won't find in the real world. But when you have the opportunities to be that way in the real world, but then you just shun them and you put them away to pursue the video game goals instead, that's when it becomes an issue. See, I enjoyed taking down the Strider in this clip, but it didn't get in the way of me making YouTube. It didn't get in the way of me going to the gym. In fact, this perfectly ties into me going on YouTube and making the videos I make, because it's really, it hooks the type of person I want to get on this video, who is likely you. Someone in the 1 hour a day crowd, I mean, it's a tough thing to convince someone that 1 hour a day is actually not the best thing in the world, because, you know, like with other things, it doesn't even matter, right? If you have one little like square of chocolate a day, it's not going to completely destroy your diet and make you fat and just make you fail at it, right? The problem with video games is actually the same exact problem as a lot of foods and junk food, fast food, that sort of thing, is that they are specifically engineered to hook you. They are specifically engineered to have you playing longer, for more hours. They want their game to be as addictive as possible, and that's, why I fault them for that. That's a proud capitalist doing their job, right? But of course, the debate has been going on forever as to whether or not game companies should be responsible for completely screwing up their customers or not. Regardless, these games are out there, and they're hyper palatable, and they're the type of thing you should not indulge in every single day of your life. Otherwise, they will hinder your work, and every single day you'll just be thinking about them and wanting to play them, and whatever task in front of you that doesn't have instantly gratifying properties will just take the back seat in your mind, and you will only be thinking about Armored Core or Elden Ring or Sekiro or whatever your current drug of choice is. In fact, most games, if you played an hour every day, you wouldn't get much out of them. Like, games like Elden Ring, they take way longer than just 1 hour of game time to actually really, really give you the full offering of the game, like get you actually immersed into the experience. So you'll be at the end of your 1 hour, and then you'll think, what's another 20 minutes? What's that gonna hurt? Then before you know it, what do you know? It's way past the time you said you were gonna go to bed, and then you think, oh my god, I'm gonna be so tired for my shift tomorrow, but I don't care because this game is so good, and it's the highest dopamine thing in my life right now. It's the most gratifying thing, so I don't want to stop playing it. I'm sure lots of people have had this experience where they just kind of want to take revenge for the time taken away from them from their jobs. So what they'll do is they'll scroll social media, they'll relax on their couch, they'll watch their favorite show, they'll play their favorite game, they'll do anything and everything that doesn't involve delaying gratification or doing anything difficult to work towards something better, They're not granted a lot of their vacation time in real life, so they may as well take it where they can, take all the fun where they can, right? But that's the issue here, right? People who take their fun where they can. Basically, the first thing that seems fun or exciting to them, they're just gonna blindly go after it without having a second thought, right? The reason why that's bad is because you basically you use up all of your leisure time in one setting. Now, if you were to delay gratification, if you were to come home from work or whatever you do, or wake up in my case, because I work it more in the afternoon and evening, if you were to take the free time you had from your job to basically just pure dopamine, just pure instant gratification, what would happen is you would waste the time you have to build something that would get you out of the situation you don't like in the first place. Now, what I'm saying here is, if you are fully satisfied with what your life is right now, if you're being completely honest and you're 100% satisfied with exactly where your life is right now, and you just want to rest on your laurels currently, then go ahead, play video games every day, play 3 to 5 hours a day. It doesn't matter at that point. You have done all the work you need, and you are satisfied with where you are. But if you're the type of person who does not want to stay where they're at, if you're the type of person who feels like their life is mediocre at the moment, or, less than that, worse than that, then indulging in such a hyper fun and gratifying thing every single day is not going to be the healthiest thing for you. Because this is what video games do. They replace that gratification that you feel you were supposed to have at work. And if you're sitting at a job that gives you zero gratification, whether it's delayed or it's instant, or any meaning, if you feel like there's no meaning in your work, then you're a prime candidate for video game addiction. You are the perfect customer for someone to come along and say, here's all the status. It may be artificial. You may not feel like it may not be real people telling you that you did an amazing job at X or Y, or it may not be a real source of income or a real bank account you're filling up, or real tasks you're completing, real people you're pleasing or serving. But it's there, and it's much better than what you have now, so you may as well take it. And that's the sad truth of a lot of gamers, is they like their virtual lives better than their real lives, unironically, so they have no problem just replacing it. They have no problem taking their preferred life wherever they can and just saying, to hell with the real one. I'll just begrudgingly go to work so I can pay off the machine that gives me my real life, my preferred life. And like I said in the last video, these feelings perfectly translate to starting in the gym. If you want to have the sensation that you're leveling up, that you're acquiring status, that you're getting just some sort of community in your life, that you're getting a sort of feeling of gratification and pride and accomplishment, as said by our favorite game developer, EA, put yourself in the gym. I would actually recommend looking up a YouTuber by the name of Hamza. His earlier videos were much more based around beginners. His stuff now is much more for people who are willing to sit through a really long video and pay attention, but he gives you step by step on how to start your gym journey and just how to get those gains and just make that progress, level up your real life character, level up your real strength. Because that's what most of us want to do, right? We're not really addicted to video games. We're really just addicted to real life. We're addicted to feeling something, feeling thanked for our work, or feeling gratified for our work, and not just by some material thing, some material good. We feel a need for a sense of community. And if you want to feel that sense of community, that sense of, belonging and like-minded goals, I would say hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell button, and leave a like if you want. Don't forget to rate, and I thank you for coming along. Bye!